Okay, hello there, I'm Dennis. In today's video, we're going to install EndeavourOS ArcSpace operating system. Let me minimize this, we'll come back to that. Got EndeavourOS set up in my virtual box. I've given it 4 gigabytes of RAM, enabled two of my processors. I've enabled the EFI. I've turned the video memory all the way up, and I give it 52.5 gigs of virtual drive. So let me click on start and let's get started here. Okay, so I see that if you're not ready there, it's going to select it for you quickly. EndeavourOS is the first option. It says UEFI CD with Nvidia non-free, new cards, and non-hybrid cards. So if you have one of those cards, you probably want to use this option. The regular option would be, where it's defaulted to here, would be Arch Linux Install Medium. Alright, so I actually booted up already in both of these, and I did not see any difference. However, the difference is, or the resemblance, the same thing. I installed it on a virtual box using the same drivers, same system, all that. So Nvidia wasn't even a part of the equation. So that's probably why I didn't see any difference between the first one here, the Nvidia non-free drivers. I'm going to select Arch Linux Install Medium, and I'm going to hit enter or press enter, and I'll get into full screen here. And I read where EndeavourOS comes with the virtual guest box editions installed. Let's find out. While we're waiting here, I want to show a couple of new additions. My sister had a snow globe, if you know what that is. And me being who I am, I picked it up and dropped it. But on the inside of it is these penguins. And I thought that was pretty neat. So we got the Tux Man right there. Okay, so we're back into the system here. Let's see what we got. First of all, we do have guest editions. The first option in the welcome window would be start the installer, update this app. It's telling me that we've already got guest edition updates available. Update the mirrors and change display resolution, which no need to. We got a partition manager, latest release information, installation tips, and troubleshoot. So I'm going to go ahead and we're going to update the mirrors right off the bat. And it should ask me to select my country. And it does, United States. I'm going to turn the hours up from 2 to 4 hours. Maximum number of mirrors is 10. That's probably plenty good. And we'll start the installer. Here, the first option we get, it says this is a community development release. The offline method, that's my mirrors. I should have waited until that got through. We're going to save that to etsy-pacman.d/mirror list. Now back to the installer here. This is a community development release. The offline method gives you an Xfce Desktop with the EndeavourOS theming. Internet connection is not needed. Online method lets you choose your desktop with vanilla theming. Internet connection is required. Please note this release is a work in progress. Please help us make it stable. Help us making it stable by reporting bugs. Recommend that on any distribution. It's real tempting, since I want the Xfce Desktop, to go ahead and just click on the offline method, but I'm not. I'm going to click on the online method, and that'll give me more options. If I remember right, this is a new addition. Get that out of the way here. To the installer. Seen this now in a couple places. It allows you to see what's happening in the terminal, and that's actually pretty cool. You could follow that right along and see what's happening here. So on the installer, opened up here, and we got American English by default. We're going to say OK. We'll say About. Click on the About, and it is the Colin Morris installer, 3.2.26, and it was built for EndeavourOS. OK. American English is correct for me, but obviously there's a drop-down arrow there. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Where do we go here? Perfect. English United Kingdom. American English. That's where it was. Okay, so that's how you change your language. Now, if you change your language, this right here will come up and it'll show something different, I'm sure. But for me, it selected in the region America and Chicago, which is in the central time zone. So all that is correct. I'm going to select next. It's got my American keyboard. And it works. If you're in some other country, obviously select your country and your keyboard and do a test before you click next. When you get it right, then click next. Interesting, I see the terminal over here jumping through the commands that it's issuing. Okay, so erase disk. And this is what it will do. It will give, if we select this right here with no swap, it'll just give us an EFI 300 megs, and the entire rest of the disk will be your root drive, one drive. So even if we give it swap with no hibernate, which would be on a computer rather than a laptop, on a laptop you're going to want hibernate, it gives us 5.2 gigabytes of swap. So far I'm okay with this, with the exception I want a home partition. I think it's safer that way. Okay, and if you was on a laptop, it would give you 8.4 gigabytes of swap. So I'm going to select manual partitioning and run through this real quick. All right, so select next. I did. Pretty sure I did. We're going to need a new partition table. We're going to need GUI partition table or a GPT. Select OK. Left click on the free space. Left click create. And they only furnished 300, but I'm going to give it 512. And I'm going to select EFI or FAT32. Mount point will be boot EFI. And there is a boot flag. All right, say OK. All right, boot EFI. Then left click on the free space again. This time we're going to say 2048, which is less than a quarter of what they recommend. That is going to be swap, Linux swap. There is no mount point, but there is a flag. So let's left click on that. Left click on the free space and say create. And here's where we differ. I'm going to divide it fairly close in half. And this will be the root partition. So okay. Now left click on the free space once more. Say create. The size will be the same. The mount point will change here to /home. There it is. Nope, that mount point, I must have left clicked the wrong one. There it is. /home, and there is no home flag. So say OK. I guess if you have to double click it. So now you can see we've got 512 EFI, 2 gigabytes of swap, root partition, and a home partition. And this over here is changing, throwing flags, and that's cool. Okay, so we're ready. I'm going to say next. Did it hang up? What's happening here? Say next. Well, I'm not understanding why it's highlighted, but it's not responding. And next. Won't let me say next. All right, let's make sure everything's right then. Edit. 512 megabyte GPT, FAT32. Or a BFAT. Maybe it would like that better. I don't see one, but FAT32 is correct. Boot EFI, boot flag. Oh, that's right. Say OK. All right, now left click on the swap. Say edit. See what that says. Swap. Flag is swap. That's OK. Left click on the root partition. No mount point. Huh. That's right. I don't remember doing that. That's my fault. Now I bet we could go because it's mounted at /. Yep, there we go. My bad. I should read. All right, so I'm going to select Xfce Desktop, and I'm going to tick the box that will select all of these. Let's see. We got leaf pad, mouse pad. I'm not sure why you would want to, but if you have a preference, you can always take one or both out. Calculator, Blueberry, that's for your Bluetooth support. Archives, we'll get some cursors. Get a terminal. Okay, well, I'm good with all that. I'm going to say okay. Collapse that box. Go down here. Now, you could select all of these if you wanted to. I'm not sure I would do that, but if you was interested, you could do at least 2 or 3, I would think, safely. And you can install printing support right off the bat, but because I'm in a VM, I'm not going to be printing, so I'll just not do anything with that, leave it unticked. For a scanner printer, for HP printer scanner, you can select these. Accessibility tools. Now let's see, we got mouse tweaks and Orca, which I don't really need either one of those. And Nvidia drivers. Again, if you need Nvidia drivers, now's the time to get them. Otherwise, I'm not sure you'll have that opportunity when you get through, because you may have so much screen tearing or other malfunctions. So that's pretty neat. We got Xfce, Mate, KDE, I believe that's Plasma 6, GNOME Desktop, Cinnamon Desktop, Budgie Desktop, Deepin Desktop, i3 Windows Manager, LXQt. That's pretty good. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm assuming too, as well, as you could untick all of them if you wanted to. I didn't look through the base to bell, see what it's coming in there. We got headers, Pac-Man Contrib, video drivers, Xkill, Xrandr, GPS for our USB thumb drives, router, modem manager. Most of these are really good tools that you're going to want anyway. Some I'm not sure I've ever seen. UPower. I'd have to look that up. Kind of like a challenge. Okay, you get some fonts. Ubuntu font family. A VU control. A EFI boot manager, which you need with the EFI system. Reflector. Which reflector is on the Arch ISO now anyway. So that's cool. Okay, I'm going to select next. I'm going to give it my name, and I'm going to use a capital, because I'm pretty sure it's got Mugshot installed, and that'll handle that just fine. I'm going to give it a password. I'm going to repeat the password, and although it's short, it's not telling me that. I am not going to log in automatically, although I should, because that was one of the quirks that they say they have fixed now, and so I think I will do that. I think I will see if they've got that fixed. Use the same password for the administrator account. Now again, on the password thing, if you're on a laptop or if you're somewhere where other people may be on your machine or looking at your machine, definitely log in, use a password to log into your account. But at home and in a virtual box, which I'm going to delete, that's not necessary. But however, like I said, well, I'll show you one of the fixes that they've made corrected this. I installed Endeavour quite a while ago, and I selected the login automatically, and it didn't work. I'm going to say next, and this is what it's going to do. There's our EFI, there's our swap, there's our root partition, and now our home partition. So you can see it's a little different than what they did. What they did would have worked, but it's just better to go ahead and get it set up to start with the way you want it. And we're going to select install now. This is warnings that you will not be able to undo these changes. We're going to say start. Okay. Right away you can see just a ton of data here, scripts, or data and scripts, I guess is the right way to say that it's doing. That's pretty nice. I like the installer. Or I like their version of the Calamaris. I really like the addition of the showing the terminal though. That's pretty neat for those that are interested. I see it's fixing to change the GPT keys. Okay, so I'm going to right Control F to get back out of full screen here. Bring up my web browser. And let's go back to where we started, right here on their EndeavourOS homepage. EndeavourOS is a terminal-centric distro with a dynamic and friendly community in its core. That's their bragging points that I've actually heard where you don't even have to, you'll never have to use the terminal if you don't want to. That sounds good for a new user. Somebody that wants to use Arch but is scared to death of a terminal. But if you're scared to death of a terminal, you probably ought not be trying to use Arch anyway. If you want to and you want to see what it's about without worrying about a terminal, EndeavourOS says they'll take care of that. It says also that they have a friendly community in its core. And I seen one of them on the Biddle Spotlight. That was one of the things they were saying, that they're plenty friendly, not like the normal reputation of the Arch guys that always say, read the fine manual, or they don't want to answer you, or this, that, and the other. Apparently, it's got a bad reputation for not being user-friendly, new user-friendly. Oh well. EndeavourOS says they take care of that. They're very friendly. And from what I've seen and read and heard other people say, that's absolutely true. So, they also, what you just saw was this net installer that allows you to go online and select the programs, software that you want. Or you could do the offline edition as well, which I was tempted to do that just to see what they would give you in the Xfce. Now, I know what we're getting. So this is where you'd go to get their latest version. This is where you'd go to read about the net install and all the different quirks here. Latest release, let's see, you would click here for download and help and select latest release, and it'll open this page. This is the latest release. This is where you'll get your download. Let me see if I can find that bug fix. Here it is right here. Bug fix for people who enabled auto logon, not able to get into the desktop environment. I don't remember having that problem, but what I remember is selecting the login automatically, and it wouldn't log in automatically. It would after you got into the system and changed some stuff around, but you're not wanting to do that. And if you're saying you're a new user, new to Linux user friendly, then whatever they pick should work. So it says they got that fixed. We're going to find out. It's quite a good read. Endeavour is a really good system, and it's got a lot of support. A lot of people love Endeavour. I hear them all the time talking about they're using Endeavour. More importantly, that's not for me, but for you possibly, is they say they're good for gamers, and that seems to be the direction that Linux needs to achieve greater whatever in, because so far, as I understand it, the game situation is what's holding Linux back as far as being just mainstream. But I don't know that. I just know that's what I've heard. So we're back on EndeavourOS webpage. Let me just take a quick peek here. Yeah, we're not finished. Installing base system. Please be patient. Okay. Beginning of a Linux journey. We're offering you an install process with a friendly installer that will set up your system in a headache-free and swift manner. I would have to agree. EndeavourOS is mainly a terminal-centric distribution with some GUI graphical user interface tools out of the box, like our welcome app, reflector auto, and kernel tool to make your jumpstart easier. With these tools and the power of the terminal, we offer you opportunity to give you a full control from the start in creating a system that suits your idea in computing. Now, see, they've changed, I guess, because before when they asked what this meant, a terminal-centric distro meant that you didn't really have to use the terminal unless you want to. But here, it says you will. But it says this may seem daunting, but with our wiki and the help of our very active and friendly community. Okay, so you'll have to use the web. Probably still don't have to use a terminal, but if you choose to use one and you're afraid to, or if you're just not sure, not afraid, you're just unsure, you can look on their wiki for help immediately. and then go into their community and get even more help if that's what you need. I like this. Stupid questions simply do not exist with us. I don't know if they really mean that or not. That sounds good on the surface, though. In-house developed apps. Our in-house developed welcome app is your reliable assistant to get you in the right direction, and you'll never miss an update with our EndeavourOS update notifier. So they have some sort of package manager. We'll see what that is here in a minute. Let's see. That's about all. I can go over their webpage. There's no real surprises in here. If you want to, of course, I'll have the links in the description or as titles. If you want to know more about EndeavourOS, I suggest you go here and start here. And it's one of those that's laid out right up here at the top. Everything you want to know is available in one of these options right here. I didn't see where they had any merchandise for sale, but they probably do. If I had to guess, I'd say somewhere you could find something that you could help support them. I know they just take money. Anybody just takes money, but I think they may actually have some merch, as the folks say nowadays. Let's see where this is at here. Get back in full screen. All right. Now, I'm not going to really be able to change anything because whatever I change will change itself back to whatever default settings they have here. But I see here packages XDG user drivers. That's for setting your My Documents, my music, my pictures, folders in your home directory. That is so cool that you can see that I can see that. A person can see this. Let's look at the start menu real quick. Let me go over here. All right, so here's your typical user button, and it's narrowed down pretty good. Usually you see 5 of them in here. All right, so here you got your date, your time. Let's see what that is. That's just a regular Xfce plugin clock. Although I thought I saw Orage, so you probably can install that pretty quickly. There's your notification log. Here's your power thing for if you're on a laptop, this will show you what your battery strength is, whether it's charging or discharging. Volume control, audio mixer, AV control, right out of the box. Nice. Internet connection here. English US, that'll disappear, I believe, when we get, yeah, that's the keyboard layout. I think that'll disappear when we get into our system. Take a screenshot of the entire screen. Huh. That's kind of neat. Somebody had a question about something. It's a readily available icon here just to take and that's the name of this software, called Screenshot, I do believe. Huh. That's pretty nice to have that not only included by default, but right here where a user new to Linux user can find that. Yeah, that'll disappear because we selected our language. When it gets through, it'll already have it and it won't need it there. So let's see, what else do we got? We have installed the system, that's our installer. System profiler and benchmarker is on the systems tray here. That's what we call hard info, or what the program is called. Like I said in a virtual box, this is not going to be very helpful, although it will show you. I give it one physical process, but I give it 2 cores and 2 threads, or 2 cores. All right. I can just still wait. Let's go back to the menu now. No, I wasn't through with the systems tray. That is EndeavourOS log tool. Huh. And a terminal, our file manager, and Firefox web browser. I believe that, no, the very first time I installed EndeavourOS, there was a big screen that popped up on the right side here. It took up about 1/4 of the screen from top to bottom, and it was just full of information. It just looked scary on the surface, and hardly anybody took the time to read it, but it was basically notifications. I just got through reading before I started this video that they did away with that. That's nice, because that freaked me out. So all of a sudden, I got all that writing up there, and I have no idea what it is, until I read it. And then I read it, I seen where I could just opt out of it. But you don't know that. And they do say that on their webpage where they took that out, which was nice. Firefox. All right, let's go to the start menu. Wonder if I can change that. Yep. Make a list, show category name, application tooltips, show application descriptions, position categories next to the panel button, position search entry next to the panel button or versus on top, position commands next to search entry, panel button. Like I said, any of this is just going to change. None of this will stick, but it lets us look. Okay, so now we got categories here. Let me stretch this out. Windows, be jealous. All right, so under accessories, we got the application finder, which again, when you include this with your whisker menu, I don't really get that. It just brings a word up, superfluous. Maybe even the term bloat, I'm not sure. Accessories, archive manager. This file roller or, yeah, it looks like it. Let's find out. Yeah, I believe this is the GNOME file roller. Now it's just called Archive Manager. Okay, so File Manager, Firefox. Oh, that's favorite. Accessories, bulk rename, calculator, the best calculator for simple users like myself in the world. Like DM greeter, that's where you can change your greeter when you're logging in. Your login screen, it would be called, I guess. Mouse pad. I remember we said we was going to get mouse pad and, was it leaf pad? Orage Global Time, so we do have that clock that we could change that out with down there. Screenshot comes in by default. We just saw that over here in the taskbar, or actually on the systems tray. Software tokens, the task manager, the text editor, and Vim. Vim came in by default. Text editor. That is Zed. Oh, for some reason I associated Zed with Linux Mint. Oh. I might be wrong. Under development, we got CMake, Icon Browser, Qt Assistant, Qt Designer, Qt Linguist, Qt QD Bus Viewer. Graphics. Okay, we only got one image viewer. The Budgie SH servers and browsers. Got eLinks, a terminal-based browser. Download and upload files using multiple file transfer protocols, FTP. File protocols. Let's see what this is. It looks like the same thing. Funny, it's not giving me any stuff. Transmission for your torrents. See what it says. All right, so I can see anyway, it's a terminal. I have to look that up. It'll be somewhere right in this area. Back to the menu under accessories. No, it's down to internet. That was LXQt terminal. LXQt multimedia. We got Parole Media Player, which is Xfce default media player. Pulse audio volume control, which is very nice. Allow testing video Linux under Qt V4L2 test utility, and I have descriptions of those because I don't have no idea what they are. I know what it says. I could guess, but I don't want to do that. I'll have it in the text somewhere here, titles. Under Office, okay, we do not get a bunch of bloated LibreOffice, even though I would download and install it anyway. But it's not here by default. That might be a problem for a new user because he's going to want some sort of document editor, some way to write a letter using something that's similar to Microsoft. All right, Nvidia server settings. Configure Nvidia server settings if you have Nvidia, which that might disappear once we reboot and it realizes we do not have or didn't ask for. Okay, settings. That's settings panel. Save. Under system, bulk rename, GRSync, gparted. Gparted may disappear. GRSync will be here, which is for backing your system up. A great utility. Hardware locality isotopo. That's the default program. I can bring it up, but it won't show me much in a virtual box. Reflector simple, task manager, Thunar, welcome, Xfce terminal. Okay, we don't have a toolbar here either, so surely there's a way to get that on there. General, inactive, goes after, run command, scroll, scroll back. Here we go, display menu bar in new window. Is that what that is? Huh. Well, Control-Alt-T get me a terminal. It did, and I got a toolbar. Just didn't do it right then. Had to restart it. Nice. So this is going to say Xfce terminal, although in the installer it said EndeavourOS Xfce terminal, which is fine. It just means they did something that was their own, which is fine. That's what open source is all about. Let me minimize this for a second here. I'll show you. Let's see, where was that at? Latest release. These are some things that they added to and changed to the welcome app. The new Arch ISO is implemented. Keychain server bug, we saw that being changed at the beginning. Nvidia installer has been updated to the latest Nvidia updates and changes. So if you have Nvidia drivers, that should make it a little easier there. And one of the reasons that's important, like I said, is for the gamers. And from what I understand, this is one of the operating systems that gamers actually like. So that's cool. GNOME software will not be installed by default on GNOME and Budgie. It brought too much confusion with new users thinking it was our software center. I can understand that. I was confused the first time I installed Budgie on Arch Linux. I had to install GNOME as well. Discover Store will not be installed by default on Plasma for the same reason as above. The EndeavourOS updater notification doesn't show Arch News by default anymore. I believe that was the big screen that took up about a fourth of the area here that I was talking about a while ago. I believe that's what that is. It no longer does that, which is excellent because that scared a lot of people until you read it. Who wants to do a bunch of reading right off the bat? Let's see here. Update notification, redesigned schedule, which now can be set hourly, daily, weekly, monthly, and with a graphical user interface. Okay, so you can tell it how often to check for updates. That's awesome. That's nice. Takes that right out of the new user's worry. Bug fix for people who enabled auto login. That's the one we're going to test. Deepin auto login is also fixed. Not sure what the process or the fault was there. Calamaris has some new slides. It did. And this tells you some of the changes on specific desktops like i3WM, Window Manager, and Deepin Desktop. And it provides you all the way to check your ISO, make sure it's complete and undamaged and untampered with. Minimize that. Let's see. There we are. Go back into full screen. And I'm going to say next, or I'm going to say done, because that's the only option that I have. Say done. It didn't want to read that. Okay, here we go. We got Grub. And that was our 5-second delay that I patiently waited for. SDA3 and SDA4 were clean. See if it's got my mouse. It does. We should have the guest edition still installed, even though it's not going to hold the same display resolution. There's an Xfce Desktop right there, buddy. We should be getting our welcome screen here in a second. There it is. Let's see, does that still change? Change display manager, display resolution. 1680 by 1050. Set and quit. There we go. Don't need the terminal. Well, I'm going to leave it open before we do anything. Or update, do anything. Let's go. df-h. This will tell us how much. D8.4 has got 5.6 gigabytes. Again, most Linux distributions that I've installed, most of them, period, somewhere in the neighborhood of 6 gigabytes after the fresh install. So that's right in par there. All right. Free shows that we're using 448 megabytes of RAM. All right, and our kernel is the 5.9.4 Arch Linux. Nice. All right. Very low on the system resources right here at this point. We shouldn't have to update our mirrors again, but we are going to select check for updates on the system. It's checking AUR for updates, well as Pac-Man. There is nothing to do. Downloaded them. That's one thing I like about Arch. Generally, there's no updates between the time you get through and the time you reboot. Package cleanup configuration. Let's see. We want to clean up our packages. This is for your Pac-Man cache. 3 days. That's about normal. That's okay. Give it my password to approve that. Change the display manager. Let's just see what our options would be. Right now we got Light DM, and I'm happy with that. You know, it auto logged in for me. I just realized that. I was sitting here thinking, now, did I have to log in, or did it auto log in for me? It auto logged in for me. Now, you can change that. If you want to use your password and log in, you can. You can change that. Change display resolution. We just did that. EndeavourOS default wallpaper. Thank you. That's better anyway. Let's see what kind of wallpapers we got. Right click on the desktop, select desktop settings. I like the blue. Is that this one? Yes. This is kind of sharp too. LXQt. They have one for the Xfce, probably up there, like right there. Oh, plain. Oh, come on, show me one for Xfce. Well, just that one will work. That's pretty nice though that they got some nice wallpapers. Cool. Here's where you select what you want to show up on your desktop. I'm going to take all that off just to show you that they remove them. Uh-oh. Here they are up there. Put them back. Take them off. We are showing our EndeavourOS, so the system did not remove the ISO. So I'll have to do that in storage in the VM. All right, choose one of Endeavour's wallpapers. We just did that. Close out of that. Vanilla theme. EndeavourOS default theme, Xfce. Change Xfce theme to it. That's okay. All right. So our menu's at the top, no longer at the bottom. Don't know what just happened. What just happened? Thought I was clicking on the start menu. That's D8.4 is clean. I'll fill in this black space with a bunch of text for titles, but still I don't know what happened, and we lost our resolution. You know, it might have been because I told it to change themes. Now our menu's at the bottom. Okay, is it gonna work? Froze up. Huh. Froze up, just reboot. I guess it is possible that ISO is interfering somehow. Let's just check. Settings, storage. Yep, it's still there. Let's remove it. Take that out of their system. And let's restart. Okay. Clean, no bad journals. Haven't recovered anything. Connection is established. Can we get us a... That's better than we had. Xfce, that's what I wanted anyway. Change the resolution. Let's go back to 1680 by 1050. Set and quit. Okay. Our welcome screen. We get to update our mirrors, which I don't think we need to do. We just updated our system. We set our cleanup. We've seen where we could change our display manager. Change display resolution. We just did to get the full screen. We've changed our wallpapers and we've changed our theme. Really, you don't really need this anymore. All of these options can be found in these, either in the settings panel or somewhere in the start menu, or even through just terminal commands. So I'm going to select don't show me anymore to run welcome screen, start a terminal, and run EOS welcome. Nice. So if you want to see that again, run EOS welcome. All right. Go back to that category now. Here, this right here. And the rest of it will work just fine. I just like my categories over here. See if there's anything disappeared. Let me make this bigger again. Windows, eat your heart out. All right, Archive Manager, that was there. We got Leaf Pad we asked for. We should have Mouse Pad. We do. Raj Global Time, we got that, which came in by default with EndeavourOS. Development, all that stuff disappeared. And I don't think Icon Browser was there a while ago. Might have been. Still only one image viewer. Internet, Firefox, no torrent handler, parole media player. Very, very basic. Very basic. Settings. It's all the stuff in the settings panel. EndeavourOS log tool. So there is no package manager. We do have Yay installed, I do believe. So if we say Yay -S, capital S, and we say Palmac -AUR and hit enter, it did not ask me for a password. Enter a number. Do we want 1 or 2? We want 1 because that's Palmac AUR. We're not going to get any dependencies, although on real hardware I may. I'm going to show no differences because there is none. Now it's asking me for a password. Figured that would come in. And now it's asking me to proceed with the installation. You could also install GNOME package kit. You don't have to install Palmac. Alright, and while that's running, it's not going to let me do anything else. But I can go ahead and get it loaded here. Let's see. I don't know. Let's see, Pac-Man. SS-Desktop. No, it's going to be in the AUR. So it'll be Yay -SS-Desktop. If it'll look, yeah, it's in there. So we'd have to install it through here. So let me just go ahead and get one. Sudo Pac-Man -S. I'm going to install Nomax, which is a photograph viewer. We'll do that when this gets through. Screenshot. Is it not here? It is not here. Clock didn't change. We don't need this, so I'm going to remove it. That's for your power management if you're on a laptop. It's kind of disappointing the screenshot thing's not there. I guess that's for somebody having installation problems. Okay, so we should now have Palmac. When you go ahead and this is how you would install a program using just the terminal, sudo pacman space -S, capital S, space, and then the name of the program. Asking me for my password, and asking me, do I want to proceed, because it found it. While that's doing that, let's see. Palmac. Software updater. Okay, so now we have Nomax. That should be under graphics. Graphics, Nomax. Gonna make me select the default language to start with, and there we go. So that's how you install a program via the terminal. Before we do the updates here, we're gonna go into our preferences. I'm gonna enable the AUR. There we go. Instead of 3, I'm gonna keep 2 under advanced. I'm not gonna do that. General is all good. So we could hide that tray icon and automatically download updates, but I'm not going to do that. Now it's checking for updates, and we're going to refresh just because you should. You can see it's refreshing. It's syncing itself with the Pac-Man mirrors and the repositories. So now if you checked on updates, you'd have more. Okay, so one thing right out of the bat, none of the icons are working. EndeavourOS, you got a little tweak here you need to do for us. I know how to get it back, but a new user's not going to. And those are so important, those pretty little icons. Let's see here, how to find one. Let's just go K3. Oh, let's make it bigger, Office. Well, there's our icons. So they got Go Office, LibreOffice, LibreOffice. You can select right here and this will show you the ones in the regular repositories. This is the one that I would normally get. No, I would get the Steel because I don't use it enough and I don't necessarily want the newest. And I don't want it changing on me either until I'm ready to ask for a change. Well, let me just do something that I know if it's got it. It'll only be one. Let's install it and apply. This is going to tell me the optional dependencies that we can choose. I'm going to select all those. Transcoding and DVD ripping support. That won't work probably. And that's all there is to. This is going to be what it's going to do. Download all of these dependencies. And we're going to say apply. We've installed a program in the terminal. We've looked at the size of the disk, the amount of memory. And one thing I want to see. It won't let me do it now until this gets through. It'll say the database is locked. If it don't, there's a problem. Okay, so come on. I should have not selected any of those extras, but it's okay. Okay, so that's how you do a installation through your graphical package manager. And now this is PalMac. And like I say, this is also has APMs, AUR, flat pack, and snap support. So pretty nice. Just don't have your pretty little icons now. EndeavourOS need to work on that. It's an easy fix. New users not going to know how to fix it though. Let's get Desktop in here. So it's very minimal. It's a very minimal system here with very little stuff. I like that. That's exactly what I asked for. I don't know why 2 Xfce terminals are listed there, but it doesn't matter. Only use one at a time, usually. But yeah, pretty minimal. So it gives you opportunity. All right, so let's see where's Desktop. That may be under accessories. Actually, I can just type it in, bash top. Didn't I just install Desktop? I did. Alright, so memory says 796 megabytes. With all that stuff we just did, installing the programs, Desktop's running. That's not bad. That's not bad. They've worked on this Xfce, and that may be where it stays during normal activity. We've used no swap. Not going to. Root, we've used 6.4 gigs on the install. That's pretty nice, and we're running about 10% on the CPUs right now. I'm not sure why that's so high at this point, but don't ask me again, just close. And I know that I saw There's Xtop that came in. Let's just check Xtop, see what they say. Same thing, about 539 on the memory. 4 is about, well, it's bouncing, it's under 10% like it was a while ago. That's not bad. They've done a good job. EndeavourOS, they've got it minimal system usage so that you can use that on your games. See how long it takes to open up Firefox. Pretty sure that's what that is. Yep. See what? Listen how quiet that is. Oh, cool. All right. Let's see, help. And about. And we got the 82.0.2 64-bit Firefox. Okay. Close tabs. Even though Firefox is going through some changes right now, they still included in by default here in EndeavourOS. Personally, I still use Firefox. Y'all have to make your own decisions on that. And that's going to wrap this video up. There's really nothing else to show you. We went through the install, which was excellent. What a great installer. Online installer, that was nice. And they've got a good array of programs that can get you started. The only thing that I have EndeavourOS devs is to work on that PalMac. Like I said, I know it's an easy fix because I've had to fix it on my own system. Please incorporate that because a new user is going to want to see icons when he clicks on that. So that's going to do it for this video. I'm going to power off and I'll catch you on the next video. Thank you so much for watching and we'll see you later. Bye. Peace out.